Hey, I'm Nick. Welcome to another episode of R3 TV, the show that takes a deeper dive into the lives and minds of youth. Recently, we had Kiana and Jaden sit down and share about some issues that they faced growing up, some lessons that they've learned, and how accountability has helped them grow and become more responsible. Before we get into that interview, I want to share that we recently started a newsletter called R3 Monthly. You can sign up for it on our website. In each issue, we'll have updates about our organization, blog posts, announcements, and more. We hope that you'll stay connected with us. Now, let's take a look at the interview.
Hi, I'm Kiana from San Antonio, Texas. I'm an intern here at R3.
Hi, my name is Jaden from San Antonio, Texas, and I'm an intern at R3. Okay, Kiana, I'm gonna start this off with a question, a little fun question, all right? So, if you could be any animal, what would you be and why?
Be any animal. I think I would be a bird.
A bird?
I
Why
think
is
a
that?
bird because you can roam, like you're able to kind of roam, do your own thing. I mean, you're flying.
Yeah.
You're kind of
I mean, who doesn't want to
you're
fly?
flying. You're flying and you're able to kind of go where you want to go.
Mhm.
It's not more or less a certain place where you can be. You can just more or less run around.
Got you. Okay.
How about you?
This is a difficult one. I've been thinking about it, but I'll probably have to say a great white shark. All right.
Why a great white
They're
shark?
warriors. I think they're warriors. They got all their scars, the battle
Mm-hmm.
scars on them. And the thing about them is they don't really sleep. Like, they can't, because if they do, they kind of
Yeah, guard down.
yeah, they kind of drown. Like, they have to swim
Yeah.
in order to breathe. So they're just always on target. They're always focused. So I'd have to choose a shark.
I never kind of thought about it like that, but yeah, that's actually.
Yeah. So on a more serious note, our first question I would have to say, what are your future goals?
My future goals, most definitely to have peace.
That's a big one.
Yeah, peace. I definitely want peace. Stability.
You said stability and peace. What does that mean to you?
Stability and peace. Most definitely peace is more of not having worry, not having so much stress, not having some, how much looking over your back or thinking that you're not necessarily in the right state of, right, when you're in the right state of mind, basically when you're at the best state of your mind. What about you and what you want out of your future?
Yeah, so my future goals, my more recent future goals, I want to move out of my mom's house. I think it's important for, me at this point in my life. I think I've had a lot of guidance from my whole family and all that good stuff. So I just really want to stay focused on make sure I get my associate's degree and moving out of my mom's house. So that's my future goals that I have my eyes set on.
Yeah, good.
So what are your struggles you face while being a young parent?
What struggles? Most definitely judgment. Judgment, kind of a low, I wouldn't have to word it, but like a kind of a lower, like basically as being seen as more of a child than, more as an equal. So that was most definitely a big one because it was more of not being seen as equal. It was more as you're a young parent and, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're talking about. But in that case, of course, so it's like a lot of judgment. And most definitely was a big one is judgment. Another one that I have faced that is also a big one as in struggles is kind of the stability, actually. Like, really, it's because you're so young, you're trying to reach for these things to provide for your child and be able to give them what they want and, of course, a better life than what you have. And then, so more or less, that just kind of was a big struggle for me because it was hard for me to reach for those things being so young and, of course, wanting it. So, what about you? What are some struggles you have faced?
In my childhood, some struggles I have faced were not always having a dad around, because I live with my mom, but my dad did pop in every now and then. I make sure, his presence was definitely felt. He was in my life, but I just wanted him more in my life. So that was a big one because going into school, it could it affected how I like learned, how I made friends, and I just wish he was more in my life. Yeah. So our next question: what are something that holds you back that you have been through?
Something that holds me back that I've been through. I've actually had a lot of held backs. Something that is holding me back a lot is kind of myself and kind of being more confident in myself and knowing that I can. Well, I know that I can reach those things that I want for myself, but it's also you gotta have the confidence to actually get you there and know that you have what you need to get there. So
Yeah,
most definitely.
I would have to agree 100% on that. If there's anything that holds me back, it'd definitely be myself. There's never really someone I could really put the blame on other than myself, because at any moment, whether I felt a certain type of way because someone did something or just my situation, I always had like a moment of thought of what I should do. And I knew when I made that action, it was always like I had the burden of performance. So yeah, I would have to 100% agree with you on that. What are the struggles you faced being the oldest out of your siblings in the house?
Most definitely, being the oldest is kind of, you're kind of the one to be. Well, I was definitely left a lot to watch them, so I was definitely the babysitter, and it taught me a lot, and it kind of put me through a lot because it's like you're the oldest. You kind of got to put up an example. You kind of got to put up as that example. You don't want to be too much too hard or anything, and also be there and not have to have them think that they're just because I'm there, they're not receiving it from my parents or anything like that. So it was definitely.
It's funny hearing that because me on the opposite end of the spectrum, I'm like the youngest out of 5. So everything you're explaining is what my siblings have always talked about.
Yeah, it's just a little bit more difficult when you're the oldest.
Exactly,
You're the youngest. It's no, we used to take care of you.
Yeah, and your family, parent-wise, kind of put a burden on you to set a good example, which I can understand it could be very difficult. And me being the youngest of 5, I was always kind of getting get away with a couple things.
The end of
I was the youngest, so I could get away with a couple things. So the struggle, there aren't really struggles of being the youngest, really.
Well, I don't think so, huh?
Other than the struggles you put on yourself. But yeah, I can't say there's many struggles being the youngest. The next question: what are the gains and lessons you learned out of being the oldest and a young parent?
Most definitely patience. Patience is a real big thing that I've learned to have because if you're not patient, it kind of keeps hitting you in the face, of wanting, I guess, that time. But if you're focused on being patient, kind of makes you more leveled. So I learned patience, and I've learned accountability, just because, when you're kind of, what was the question?
Just the lessons you learned being the oldest.
Okay. So it taught me accountability because, if I wasn't accountability, they would call me out. So, so I'd be like, okay, I was wrong. So it definitely taught me accountability, and it taught me to be more, responsible in a way, just because you kind of setting an example and you want to also be there, but
setting a standard.
Yeah.
So. And
then, so most definitely those are some of the.
For me.
How about you?
The lessons I learned from being the youngest is honestly understanding respecting authority, because when you're the youngest, you always have someone trying to tell you something, and it could be 9 times out of 10 it's usually right, and it's just being hard-headed that you kind of want to go. I want to go against it. So that was the biggest one for me. Something that also plays a factor in that could also be accountability, because when you're somewhat the youngest and someone tells you to do something, you kind of just fall back on, well, they told me to do it. So
more or less seeing as you're getting told it, then, it's
exactly. So you're just shifting the blame, and that can be very detrimental to your mental when you're growing up, and then you start becoming a more being an individual, and people are going to hold you accountable, but you can't just be shifting the blame. You gotta understand that you're held at fault, and you gotta have the consequences for what you did.
Yes, most definitely.
So Next question. What's something you would change about yourself and would be into big growth within?
Something that I would change in myself is definitely my confidence. I want to obviously boost that so I can have that and believe in, not that I don't, but, it's nice to kind of have a nicer way to allow yourself to reach those goals without putting a stop there. So most definitely will change, work on my self-confidence.
Just being aware of, there's still,
And then also, I'm going to go based on that.
Yeah, there's always room to improve,
yeah,
right? So
there's literally and so many things, so definitely.
So for me, I'll say something I would want to change about myself to better my growth. It would definitely be my faith, because I feel like that's, a big one in my life. If I just improved my faith and stayed consistent with it, I think that would be truly the defining factor in my life that makes me, feel conflicted to change.
Yeah.
Because if I'm trying to find things within myself to change, really, it may not feel authentic. If I'm just thinking of something that's random, I want to change, I might be wanting to change it for the wrong reasons. I might question it a lot. But in my faith, I feel like there's a standard that you're just held accountable to that's objective, right, in my beliefs. So that's something I really want to change, just staying way more consistent in basically strengthening my faith.
No, yeah, and because with faith, it comes with a lot of things that it most definitely teaches you, and it allows you to really a big change. So yeah, that was it.
And I feel like if anything, everything I've learned indirectly, it's always led back to my faith. So if someone was always trying to teach me how to get a job, this internship, building relationships, at the end of the day, I feel like every time I close my eyes at night, I just think this could relate back to my faith. And
there's a reason for it all.
Yeah, there's no point in trying to make it harder than it is. So
exactly.
I would have to say that's a big one for me. We are coming to the end, but I think I want to end this off with, as far as because we know we're taking a big step. We're just ending our internship. So what's something as soon as you get out of this internship that you're looking forward to, now that you've made big changes, you've learned a lot, new things, we don't want to fall back into our old ways.
Yeah.
What's something that you're really looking forward to, knowing that this changed about you?
I am looking forward to, I'm going to be returning back to school. So that's one thing I really am, this month I'm returning back to school, and it's going to be following my own esthetician, so it's my own beauty path in a way. So most definitely I am excited for that, because that's something that I love to learn about and something I love to get into. So I'm excited to get back into that this month. So that's something.
Okay.
How about you? It's something.
For me, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm going back to school, community college. And I'm just looking forward to seeing everything I learned as far as building relationships, knowing that it's very important not to just do something for yourself, in a selfish manner. I'm going to school to improve myself and mentally and all that, but I don't want to just turn off the other side of building relationships on a continuous basis. The new people I meet, going back to my family, I'm happy to interact with them, tell them what I learned about. So I'm looking forward to all those, and of course getting a job, because that's
that's what I was going to get into too. Because I was getting a job to also provide, so I can invest in also my path. Because obviously I got to invest. So I'm most definitely looking forward, excited to get a job, to stand with my school, whatever too.
Okay, cool. Well, it's been fun, Kiana.
It was good talking. I appreciate it.